Is on assignment today, so I'm gonna be handling this project right here solo dolo, but it's gonna be a very exciting episode. Everything's all good. I want everybody to know to keep giving me your comments and following us on podcast_daddy at Twitter and also on Podbean. But let's get into this exciting episode. I have Jevonte Herndon from the San Diego Chargers, also played college at Arkansas and played at Jacksonville Bolles. Jevonte, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you having me.
Man, it's exciting to have you on the show, man. After talking to you, I just know we're going to have a great episode, man. You're going to give us a lot of things that can help the community, help these parents, and help the youth, man.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, for sure, man. All right, so let's get into this thing, man. So just starting off in Jacksonville, what was your start like as far as like Pop Warner, what you play and stuff like that?
So I started at the Great Lake Shore Athletic Association.
Okay. West Side?
I know it ain't as big as it once was. But yeah, I actually started playing football when I was 8 years old. I started playing basketball first. I know that was a question you asked Jamie before, so actually when I was 6 years old, I started playing tennis on the basketball. So for most of my life, like basketball was the main focus of my life. Probably up until my senior year in high school. But I think I just started playing football at 8 just because my older brother was doing it. He was a pretty good player, pretty well known. So I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. Started off playing quarterback at Mighty Might, and we still watch some of our old. I couldn't even throw the ball my first year playing football. All of my first 2 years, actually. Anytime we had passing plays, we had my backup quarterback was our fullback, so we did halfback passes, and he would throw the ball. A couple of years of doing that, I finally learned how to throw the ball. Ended up winning like 2 or 3 city championships in Jacksonville. We always made it to the Orlando game. I guess that's like 1 or 2 games before state. We could never beat Dr. Phillips.
Yeah. Was it any Pop Warner kids that made it to the league that you played against that you knew of?
So actually, the running back for Dr. Phillips, people ask me that all the time. I can't remember his name, but he's actually in the NBA right now.
The running back for Dr. Phillips.
Yeah, I cannot think of his last name. His dad was a professional baseball player, light-skinned dude. I cannot think of his name, but I know for a fact that he's in the NBA right now. I can't think of his name at all.
Okay.
But that's the only person I could think of that come to mind. I had Rashard Knight on my team, who probably one of the most athletic dudes I've ever been around. He played at Trinity with Jamie and them. I can't really, to be honest with you, a lot of people that should have made it, they didn't make it for different reasons. But, it's kind of the luck of the trade, the higher you go.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's a big difference. There's definitely luck of the trade. So what do you say about playing multiple sports, man? So, like, you got any kids?
No, I don't have any kids.
So, when you do have kids, what you think you're going to do as far as them playing multiple sports versus playing one sport?
My personal opinion, I'm going to push them to play as many sports as I can, and football would be the last sport that I want them to get into.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that from a lot of football players. Why you say that?
Just going through everything from high school, the recruitment, the college, and all the politics and that, the injuries and the business side of the NFL. I don't want my kids to go through it unless they want to go through it. I'm not going to force that onto them.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Like I said, out of NFL players, and just seeing the toll that it pays on, that it hits on people's body. A lot of
and another speaking on that, and another reason I don't want to force it on them, because I know a big problem, especially in the black community. I don't want to be one of those parents trying to live through my child.
Yeah,
it's some parents that just can't let go that they didn't make it. So everything that they do, they living through their vicariously through their child, and it's like let the kid be the kid, let them enjoy the moment. And I never want to put my child in that position because I know how that feels. I've seen how that feels. I've kind of been through it at some points in my life, and I don't want to ever have my child to go through that. Where it's like once they get to college, it's like you care more about the sport than you do the child.
Yeah. So you think that it's more like that in college, or you think it's more like that in like Pop Warner in high school days? Because I see a lot of parents. I see a lot of parents that like care in Pop Warner, and then when they try to get to high school, they kind of don't be on them like that. I see.
No, I've seen it up to every level.
Okay.
Especially like college is when it's probably the worst, I would say, because that's when your kid is turning into a man, and sometimes you got parents that they don't even know their child. All they know is the football aspect of their life. They don't know anything that's going on outside of football.
Yeah, you're right. Especially if they go far away. I definitely consider having, but you have some that just they love the stardom of it, and they just get caught up in the stardom of it and lose the focus of why they was doing it in the first place.
Yeah, and that take a bigger toll on the child than what they might be going through. Because if you look up at your parents, they're your backbone, and sometimes if that's all they care about, it's like, okay, well, who do I go to now?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's now. I mean, they starting to have psychologists in D1 programs. They need to have them in all programs, but they're starting to have psychologists because mental health is a big thing. Especially the last couple of years. So like they're starting to have psychologists where people can go and athletes can go talk to them, because it's devastating just going to college and things don't turn out the way you want them to turn out, and it always turned out that way. And then at this point in time, the biggest time in your life is you think it's the biggest time in your life, but after you get past college, you realize having a child, buying out your first house, stuff like that is way, way different. But anyway, so like you think that's the biggest time in your life, and it might be the biggest time in your life right then and there in that moment. But and things don't work out right. You just need somebody to talk to, and like you said, some parents just don't understand, and some parents they not going through the practices that y'all go through, so they have their own way to think of what's going on and what you're not doing or something like that. So, yeah. So going from Lakeshore and ending up at Bolles. So when you went to high school, did you first go to Bolles in the 9th grade, or did you go to Bolles before then?
Well, so I ended up at Bolles 9th grade year. My twin got in a little trouble academically, and Bolles was so strict on academics, he made one bad grade in all 3 years of middle school, and they didn't let him in his freshman year. He had to prove that he can get his grades, so he went to our neighborhood school, which was Forest, and then he ended up joining me in 10th grade. But my 9th grade year, I fractured my growth plate in my knee. My 9th year at Bolles, I was 5'5", 115 pounds when I stepped foot on campus.
Yeah, Bolles is a great school, man. Great academics. You're gonna meet some people that are doing some awesome things. Some high-powered people in the city of Jacksonville, and the opportunity is good. It's changed since Corker Rogers left.
Oh yeah, it changed a lot.
A whole lot.
Kind of nervous because I ain't been back since all that happened, but we're gonna see how it turns out.
Okay, when you going back?
Man, see, now that I'm done playing now, I can finally say that I'm done. I ain't gotta worry about it. I want to try to get back more, cause only time I really go back to Jacksonville is around Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Which I went last year. They always practice on Thanksgiving. I kind of came to show face.
But to get back into it, go back into the Bolles situation. So you got injured?
Yeah, my freshman year, like probably the first couple weeks of summer workouts, fractured my growth plate. I ended up only playing in like the very last JV game that year, and I was so injured that I only play they could throw me was a quick screen, and that was my first time ever like playing anything other than quarterback. Like for real, I played running back a little bit at Lakeshore when we had some injuries, but they moved me to receive because they was like, all right, now you's little and to be truthful, you black. Like you ain't gonna work as a quarterback at Bolles.
Yeah, we can go there now. We can go there with a lot of private schools in the city. And
that was just being real with me. Like, listen, we run a wing team. What are you gonna do for us at quarterback? Like, we need to put you at another position. So I ended up moving to receiver that year. So 10th grade, I grew 2 inches. Now to my 10th grade year, I was 5'7", 140 pounds. So my junior year, playing receiver, finally my first full year of my life playing receiver, on the backup receiver in a wing T offense. So on the wing T, you only got one receiver on the field. You got three. You got a flanker, fullback, running back. You got one receiver. So the pickings for me to get the ball are slim to none. But somehow it ended up being most of the time when we got pass plays, I started going in the game more on the pass plays, and the coaches would allow me to. So I started finally being able to like show what I can do. I think I had like 8 touchdowns my junior year.
Okay.
Was in my junior year, I was playing basketball. Went up for a layup and fell on my knee and dislocated my kneecap. So I fractured the growth plate in my left knee, dislocated my right kneecap. And then so I was out for 3 months because of that. And in those 3 months, I gained 30 pounds. I got up to 185. And I went from like 5'9", 5'10" to like 6'1". I'm like 6.5, 6'1" right now. So I finally finished my growth spurt, gained 30 pounds. And I was working out twice a day. Coaches and stuff and parents like ask me all the time, well, how did you gain weight? I was like, man, I was working out twice a day, and my daddy used to make us eat 4 peanut butter jelly sandwiches a day on top of our 3 meals.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna break you up right quick. So how important was it for your family members or, mentors or whatever to be in your life during the injury, man?
Man, shoot. In high school, I didn't really think too much of it, but the older you get, it really is really important. Because, in high school, you with your boys all the time.
Yeah. You're right.
I wasn't like doing everything they was doing, but I was still in the weight room with them. I'm still in class with them and stuff like that. But when you get to college and higher, it's major.
Okay. That's awesome. So, what you saying? I'm trying to get back where we was at. My bad for cutting you off.
Oh, no problem. So I ended up gaining like 30 pounds. I grew like 3 more inches, whatever. So then my senior year hit. The very first school to send me a piece of mail, University of Arkansas, and I'm like, where in the world? I don't even know what this is on a map.
Yeah. I hear you.
Very first school to send me anything. And not only are they the first school to start recruiting me, they're the very last school to send me a scholarship offer. So my senior year come, all these colleges and schools start popping up at school or whatever. I don't know if you're familiar with the name Brent Benedict, but that was one of our linemen. He literally got any school in the country, you probably think that he might have got a scholarship offer from them.
Okay.
He was our right tackle. It was one of those things where we had all 3 of our running backs were seniors. I was a senior. Brent was a senior. So schools would just come in our locker room. They would see Brent, see how big he is, and they'll offer him on the spot. And so all of us looking at him like, dang, when that's going to happen to us?
Yeah.
I went to like 3 camps. I went to the Nike training camp, which was like an invite only. Like my senior class, we went to Georgia Southern just for the fun of it because we were like real tight with the coaching staff.
It's close to, yeah.
And then I went to Vanderbilt camp because my brother went there. He started his career at Minnesota, then he transferred to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
So then I'm getting recruited, but the offers are not coming in like I'm expecting them to. Actually, I think my first offer didn't come. My first offer didn't come until we played at UC, and it was from Liberty University. and I was on the way to the hospital for full body cramps when I got my first offer.
So what do you think? Well, let me ask you a question. What do you think about kids that get offers from, Liberties, the Marshalls, Charlotte 49ers, stuff like that, and they don't take those offers seriously because they want, D1 offers? I mean, what do you think?
In today's landscape, man, you can go to any school and make it.
Oh yeah.
To be honest with you, on signing day, I thought that I was either going to sign to Illinois or Liberty.
Okay.
Just because I had talked to Arkansas for the longest, but they never offered. So then Liberty ended up being my first offer. I think FAU was my second offer. And then I started getting phone and I remember Jamie saying how the recruiting process was fun for him. He got to talk to all these schools and visit all these schools.
Mm-hmm.
I hated every single bit of it. I hated it.
The nervous. What was it?
It wasn't the nervous. It was just man, I don't want to talk to these schools if they're not offering me.
Oh, okay. So
how they do.
you're like an average kid, because that's what an average kid go through. Like the average kid don't get a million scholarships and stuff like that. Average kid just get a couple, and then I'm talking about a couple in his senior year. That's like the average, So that so I understand. So it's different, totally different. That's awesome. That's awesome that you can say that. That's what I mean by that.
And so and my recruiting process kind of started off with schools giving me the runaround. I had FIU and Tulane telling me for months that they're gonna offer me as soon as the school year started. It never happened. So that was my first exposure to the recruiting process.
Yep. Have you so basically, do you think you was that guy who they wanted you, but they didn't want to lock a spot in for you at that time? They wanted you at the back end. Was you that type of guy, you think?
Honestly, I think I was one of those guys, and I feel like I've always, just because of the way my career has came and ended up, I was one of those guys. They felt like they knew I could play, but I never had the stats to back to give me a good enough resume. My senior year, I don't think there was ever a point my whole football career that I ever had 1,000 yards receiver.
Okay.
My senior year at Bolles, we were really good. We was going for a back-to-back state championship. And I tell people this all the time, out of all the years at Bolles, I think from the beginning to the end of the game, I think I've only played 3 full games. Because usually, most of the time by halftime, we had a running clock. And so most of the games at Bolles, and I think that might have hurt me also, because most of my games at Bolles was, okay, I might have 4 catches, 5 is pushing it, and I have 1 or 2 touchdowns. And then I'm done for the game.
I hate you.
The most catches I had in the game was when we played Coco, and they beat us in overtime. I had 7 catches that game, and I had a receiving touchdown and a punt return for a touchdown. So we were good, but I feel like that hurt me because I never really played full games. I look at people that my brother, his senior year, he went crazy, led the city, broke all these records for receiving, and then the kids behind me at Bolles, they get double the amount of catches that I had, and I just never had an opportunity for that.
The one thing I just don't think people think about, and I know a kid at high school is not going to think about that, is just if you do go to the NFL, saving your body is a must. To have longevity, it's just some people just lucky, but just not taking all those hits in high school and in college when you're not getting paid for it, it's a blessing actually. Yeah. And so and I kind of want to touch on that a little bit later, but I think that helped me too. But also the fact that I had those knee issues with the growth plate and that kind of bothered me in long term, just because of the future surgeries that I had on my knees, or my left knee. But as far as the recruiting thing,
I wasn't as recruited as I expected. As I expected to be, but I used to get the most random phone calls from the most random schools, and I'm talking like before I was fortunate enough to play in the NFL, I couldn't even point these places out on a map. Like I remember getting a call from South Dakota, calling me saying, "Hey, I know you probably have a lot of offers, but just want to let you know if you want to come here, we got a scholarship for you. If you ever want to come on a visit, just let me know, and we'll bring you up whenever." And I couldn't tell you where South Dakota was on the map. I had never heard of it. I remember walking to basketball practice one day, and I get a call from Army, and they pretty much said the same thing. One thing I can say is, for the people that commit early and the people that don't commit early, take as many visits as you can.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got, so now they got the kids taking visits because of the early signing period. They got them taking visits in the summer when there's no football games, like official visits. And I'm like, are you crazy? Like,
nah.
don't get, unless you're leaving early, don't get pressured by the early signing period, because go to these games, to these rivalry games that you're never gonna have the opportunity to go again. Even if you got money, you're not gonna see some of the inside stuff you're gonna see as a recruit on an official visit. You just not gonna see, Alabama, Auburn, Ohio State, Michigan, just go as far as you can. And I even had one person from Jacksonville taking an official visit to Florida. I'm like, why would you be from Jacksonville and take an official visit? Don't waste it. Just go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right up the street. Yeah.
Yeah, drive. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, of course, you can go and eat a little different. You're going to be able to go in a different room or whatever like that. But, no, don't waste that, man. Go on, give your parents some vacation time. Spend some good time with your parents and enjoy, those different places across the country.
Yeah, and be smart on the visits, too, because, like, the craziest visit I was ever on was at William and Mary. And before they was recruiting me, I never even heard of the school until they started recruiting me. Of course, I had some people, like most people don't know, William & Mary is the second oldest school in the nation, behind like Harvard or whatever. I think it's Harvard. It's the second oldest school. It's the school that like recorded the first mile in land-wise. And I didn't know that till I got there. I didn't know anything about the school until the school started recruiting me, and I had this girl that was a senior also. That was her number one school, and she got mad at me because she was like, "I'm smarter than you, or I have a better GPA than you do, and you got accepted before I did." And I was like, "Well, maybe you should have played football." So then with Arkansas, like I said before, very first school to recruit me, the very last school to offer me. So on signing day, we had a signing day celebration or whatever. You know how the school set it up, the signing day thing, most of the time in the auditorium. Ours is always after second period because we still had 8 periods, whatever. We had this thing called activities period. It's like a 30-minute break. That was our signing day thing. So that morning, I'm like, okay, Illinois was supposed to send me a scholarship. They were supposed to send me the paperwork the night before for me to sign on signing day. The next thing I know, they took it from a scholarship to a grade scholarship. I think that's what it's called. You remember those?
Yeah, you talking about just like an academic scholarship or
No, like it's gray shirt.
Oh, gray shirt. Oh yeah, I thought you said gray. Yeah, I got gray shirt. Yeah. Well, you got to pay it first.
Well, not that I was going to come. I wasn't going to come with my class. I was going to come to internet class. Something weird like that.
Yeah.
So Illinois, I was preparing to sign to Illinois. Signing day come, they didn't even send me the paperwork. So the only paperwork that I have going into signing day was for Liberty, and I was like, nobody knew what I was going to do on signing day, so I wasn't even supposed to be a part of it. So second period, the period right before the signing day thing, I have a test in the English class, and this was my hardest class at Bolles. Whatever, I had a test. Our dean of students pulled me out of class in the middle of the test. Like, I'm sorry I have to do this, but he needs to go. And my English teacher pissed off. I go to his office, and the Arkansas coaches are on the phone. And not only is the Arkansas coaches on the phone, it's 3 coaches on the phone. It's Petrino, and then it's Brandon and Antoine Sharp. And so Brandon and Antoine Sharp, they both played for Petrino at Louisville, but they also they graduated from Bolles, and they played at Lake Shore, like, growing up. And we lived in, like, the same neighborhood.
Okay. All right.
So this is my first time ever talking to them on the phone. Like, I talked to maybe the receivers coach and the offensive coordinator like once or twice on the phone. They were trying to get me up for a visit, but the weather was always bad. So this is my first time ever like actually having a real conversation with the Arkansas coaches. All they saying is, man, you got to come here, man. We're going to come take care of you. You know you from the crib, you know. I know you're in school right now. So then they're like, yeah, we're going to offer you a full scholarship. What do you say? And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I didn't even go back to class. I ended up, from that conversation on the phone, leaving school. I left school at that exact moment. I drove to my dad's elementary school where he was working at. They faxed the paperwork to him. I signed the papers like in one of his classrooms and faxed it back to them, and just went about my day for the rest of the day.
Crazy thing is this, man. You did a lot of things wrong. Let me tell you why. Two things you did wrong, in my opinion. You know, you got to call the coach for the. I feel like you need to call the coach for the other school first. Like, you know, give Liberty that call or whatever, and then it's just you took a gamble, man. You took a gamble. You know,
I did.
Because like a lot of D1, Ohio State would do this. They come in because they're the big bad wolf or whatever, and they swing in and grab kids and don't build relationships. And it's just a big gamble because they could, just as quick as they come in and don't build that relationship, they could do you wrong while you're there because of that. It's just not for you. I'm just talking to the kids out there.
Oh yeah. I definitely. I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that. I think the only reason that the only reason that I was confident in myself in doing that is because once they started sending me like letters and all that stuff, that's when I finally started like paying attention to them because I had no idea who they were. First time I ever saw them play was when they was playing Florida on TV, and they almost beat Florida. But I'm watching them the whole game. Like, dang, they recruited me, and I had knew that Wade was already committed there. And so I'm watching their offense like, dang, like I like this offense. Like they had 4 receivers that was dogs that they threw the ball to. They shared the ball to everybody. And so like I just took a gamble on myself. Like I wanna be in that offense because coming from a wing tee, I've never been able to be in something like this. Yeah, so I pretty much just took that gamble. Like I like this offense coming from a wing tee. It's a lot of opportunity. And 2, I got 2 guys that played at Lake Shore. They played at Bolles. And they played for this head coach that I'm going to be playing for. And they called me like, look, come here. We're going to take care of you. We're going to look out for you. We got you.
Okay. I feel you. I feel you now. All right.
And I was like, okay.
That makes sense. That makes sense now.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take that chance. Like, I can make it work.
Okay. If you got, you know, the older guys and them 2 guys that's already there saying that's a lot of people in your family that you like really, really know, like for real.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that makes sense. I got you. It was scary at first, even though I know the outcome.
No, yeah. No, I wouldn't suggest anybody doing nothing like that. Like, I went out on a limb, like, all right, I'm going to make this happen. I want to play in the SEC. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
And so, this is one thing I did touch on. So my senior year, I played basketball and football, of course. I did weightlifting, and I didn't run track because I hated it the one year that I did run track. But I practiced with the track team every day.
Ooh, that's a good one. Hey man, we got Frankie Robb, man. He in the house, man. What's going on, Frankie Robb?
Yeah, everything's smooth, man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. So, man, just come on up in here, man. But that track thing is a big deal. A lot of kids do not run track. They play football, but they need to run track, and they need to do the weight room. They need to do the wrestling. All 3 of those things are paramount for different positions on that football field.
Yep, and I think the main thing that got a lot of us Bolles guys prepared for college is weightlifting was mandatory year round.
Oh, yeah.
But most people, they might do a football and track or football and basketball, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna do as much as I can. They was trying to get me to play baseball too my senior. I was like, no, I can't do all of that. But I was like, all right, I know for me to be able to touch the field, I got to get faster.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, all right, my brother was on the track team, so I had to stay after school every day anyway because he was there. So I went to state and weightlifting that year, and I was practicing with the track team every single day.
And it's a difference between track and training, because like in these days, people think they just go get training instead of getting on that track. But that track is going to teach you the fundamentals of running. Training is not so, you know what I'm saying? Training is going to get you in shape, get you stronger, to jump higher, stuff like that. Get you faster in short periods of time, maybe. I don't know. But track is definitely all day is going to teach you from the ground up how to run.
Yep.
That's why it's
and so what I didn't touch on, so like when I went to the Georgia Southern camp, we ran 40s there. I ran 2 40s, a 4.81 and a 4.81. Mm-hmm. That don't look good.
As a wide receiver, definitely.
As a wide receiver, right? Yeah. And then I'm coming in there. They're like, as soon as we get there, hey man, you give us a good showing. We're gonna offer you today. After my 40s, they offered this other dude. Yeah. I don't even remember who he was, but I remember him offering. Like I watched him get him offered. And then so we go to the Vanderbilt camp. My brother got me in a hotel room, like stretching and like getting my mind right and all this stuff, making sure I'm ready for the camp. I go run the 40 there. My fastest 40 there was a 4.61.
And so I'm a piggyback on that too. So for the kids, it's better to leave them guessing than to do it and do it wrong, or do it and do it not good enough. Because when you do it and do it wrong, you're not gonna get that second chance to make a first impression. So if you with your parents and you were there or whatever, I'd rather lie and say, hey, I tweaked my ankle or whatever, I can't run it right now, and then run a bad time. Great.
Well, either Aunt Randy, you told me that with my son, and every one he went to, if he wasn't mentally and physically ready to run a 40, he didn't run a 40, bro. Like you don't have to run a 40. Like it's not something that's mandatory. It's an option for you to run a 40. Like, you don't have to run a 40. We went to so many camps and did not run a 40 because he wasn't ready. Yeah. But he can play, but wasn't ready to run that 40. So we just chilled. We can do that for real.
Don't hurt yourself.
So the best part about that, though, is so neither one of them schools ended up offering me. I ended up signing at Arkansas on signing day. I used to see them all the time because they was recruiting, but I never had any, like, real contact with them, so I don't even know if they knew how fast I was.
Ooh. And usually stuff like that. Hey, that's another good point. You just hit another jewel. Another good point. These coaches talk. They have their own little social media platforms only for coaches. So if you run a 4.8 at Vanderbilt, they talk to their sisters and brother coaches and let everybody know what you're doing. So you got to be careful by putting bad stuff out there, bad times, bad shuttles, and all that stuff. Even for just rivals and 247 and all that stuff. Everybody want to get that stuff out there, but if you're not ready and you ain't practice and train on it, don't do it because it definitely can hurt you.
And yeah, but so on that note, I get to Arkansas. My freshman year, we had to go through the training and testing and all that stuff. I run a 4.37.
Okay.
From my senior year to my freshman year of college, I ran a 4.37.
Man. But so, what was your weight? Because you told me your weight, high school was 155, so you gained those 30 pounds, 185. What was your weight being a senior?
So my senior year of high school, I went up to 185, and then I was like, all right, I don't like going that field. So my playing weight was like 181.
Give us stepping into Arkansas, man. Let us know how that went.
So yeah, so my freshman year there, I'm the least recruited receiver. We brought in 4 receivers. I'm Wade there. Everybody know about Wade. He a dog. Mm-hmm. Everybody know they still talk about him at Arkansas to this day about what could have been. And everybody know you put the ball in Wade's hands, he gonna go off. Like, that's my boy. I really wish he could have did his thing, but life happens. But so it was 4 of us. And Wade, this dude from Georgia, that was like he had offers from Alabama and all these other schools. He ended up signing at Arkansas. We had a dude from Hoover, Alabama, that's blazing fast, like track star, whatever. And then it was me, like the unknown nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Our freshman year, out of all the 4 of us, I was the only one that actually played on offense. Like we all played the special teams, and Wade was SEC all freshman for special teams. I'm the only one that's getting snaps on offense. And the only reason I'm the only one that's playing is because I picked up the playbook faster than everybody else.
Did you ever have a problem with the lights and the crowd? Because you know it's so much different than high school football. Did you have a adjustment period for that?
Yeah. You know, really, when you're on that field, when you on the field, you really can't even hear that stuff.
On the sideline, you can. I know that for a fact. I'll make people turn
Oh,
around.
the sideline, yeah, on the sideline, you can definitely hear.
Yeah.
Like, but when you're on the field, like, I never really a point where I say the crowd affected me. The only thing I do remember is every year we played, the first couple years we played Texas A&M, we used to play at Cowboy Stadium. And it's so bright in there and there's so much going on around you. So that's a distraction.
Okay.
Like, you get so caught up in watching the TV screen that people used to almost get hit in the head with the football, like if the quarterback's on the ball away, because you're not paying attention to the game. You watching it on TV, or you watching the people that's behind you, like in the bars and club section of the stadium.
So, what about weight-wise? Like, I try to tell people about how they watch every rep you do. Were you prepared for that? Because it's like a boot camp style thing.
Man, I had to be prepared for it because of the Sharp brothers. They was on my head every single day, and I think that's what helped me also.
Okay, they pushed you.
If nobody pushed me, they pushed me every day. They was in like Antoine Sharp. He was the assistant strength conditioning coach. Mm-hmm. He was on my head every single day for every single rep about everything.
And it was just
in the weight room, in practice,
a lot of pressure,
everything. And that's just because he wanted me to be successful.
Okay.
And like James was saying, they watch everything you do. Like they might be watching the DB drill or something like that, and you might be in the corner of the screen. And if you're doing something you ain't supposed to be doing, they'll pull you on like, hey man, what you doing right now? The strength and conditioning coaches, they watching everything you do because they ain't coaching nobody while practice going on, so they watching everything.
So what about, let's go to that sophomore year.
So my sophomore year, I put up the same stats. I had 2 catches, I think. And like I tell people all the time, my first 2 years at Arkansas, I had more tackles on special teams than I had catches.
Okay.
I think I had like 10 tackles on kickoff, and I had 2 catches my freshman year, 2 catches my sophomore year. But in all 4 years of college, I played in every single game that I was in.
The thing that's crazy is, and I didn't know this, they put a lot of wide receivers as, you know, defensive players on special teams. So like they get tackles. I didn't know that till I really watched Ohio State. I didn't know that. I mean, they do that. They basically put the best 11 out there on the field. That's not the best 11. I ain't gonna say that. I'm gonna say the best 11 that's maybe not in the rotation of start. Yeah. I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
Man, the scariest moments for me, my first 2 years came on special teams. I was the safety. I was one of the safeties on kickoff. My freshman year, Julio and Trent Richardson was the kickoff returners. I got a picture on Facebook where it's just me and them 3, like in a picture. And also, I was supposed to go up and tackle Trent Richardson. We tried to gang tackle him. It's like 5 of us going to game tackle him. And I'm like, I'm going to try to go for the fumble. This dude's so strong, he lifted me up off the ground and he like carrying me while I'm trying to strip the ball and everybody else trying to tackle him.
Like what you saying that far as, you know, being the SEC and, you know, like the stigma behind young kids looking at the SEC, do you feel as if like that is a strong situation to be in, the SEC or ACC, or did you, when you looking at going to college, did that ever cross your mind?
Yeah,
Was SEC, ACC?
Well, the two biggest things that, like, I probably should say this earlier, but I ended up signing on Saturday. Like I said earlier, that was two of the biggest reasons why, and it's about to sound like real, show you how immature I was at the time. Two of the biggest reasons that I signed to Arkansas outside of what I said earlier. One was because they had just switched to Nike. They were Adidas at first, and then two was because they was in the SEC West, and I'm like, the SEC is the best conference. That's why I want to play it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that before from other kids. I heard it from people saying that, it depends on what you play. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are a corner, it's sometimes looking like the ACC or the Big Ten Pac-12 could be a better situation for you because of that position. Did you count that going into it as well?
Yes. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of the reason why I liked Arkansas is because of the offense that they ran. I was a great opportunity for me. They ran a lot of crossing routes. They had 4 receivers that they were sharing the ball with, and they all used to get the ball. When I ended up going there, they was like, yeah, we got 4 coming. We got these 4, and then after that, it's y'all 4. So y'all better get y'all mind right. But it's definitely just the opportunity. You got to look at the opportunity that you have, and definitely what position you play has a lot to do with what conference that you can thrive in. Because, like, before I ended up knowing anything about Arkansas, I wanted to go to Clemson just because I knew that they were some balls. Jamie was there. I was a huge fan of Dabo Swinney, and now I feel like Clemson's wide receiver. You can't say they ain't had some of the best receivers coming out of there. Like Jacoby Ford.
Yeah, well, I kind of, like I said, kind of figured that. And sorry to come in so late with that question, but I kind of because I talked to some of the young kids right now, I wasn't sure whether it was said. You know what I'm saying? But I know they asked me, they may ask me, even though I don't know why they asking me, but they asked me, hey, man, I'm thinking about going to this school here. And basically I heard other people, say certain things, and I tell them, you got to do your research. Sound like you did that, as far as how many receivers they got there. And Randy said that all the time as well. Like, man, how many wide receivers they got there, how many people they got coming in, what coming out of there, where they going, are they going to the NFL? Because I don't care what you're doing, you're planning on going to the NFL if you're playing football right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I guess that's something that I want to get across to the younger people, and also single parents, whether you're father or mother. Not knowing that you can focus on, you got to really do your homework and find the best situation possible for you or your son.
Yeah. Okay. So my junior year, where everything go completely left. So Bobby Petrino was the head coach the first 2 years. We go to the Sugar Bowl, then we go to the Cotton Bowl. Everything looking up. We had those three of the 4 guys was leaving. So Jarius Wright, Greg Child, and Joe Adams, they gone. Only one that stayed is Kobe Hamilton, and he could have left too. But we just felt like we were so good. We had so many people coming back, like Kobe and Nile, Tyler Wilson, all these people, and we thought we had a chance to compete for a national championship. That spring, on April 1st, is when the whole Bolles Superstar motorcycle accident happened. This my junior year. This my first chance to. I'm penciled in as one of the starters next to Kobe. So everything working out. So it's finally my time. Bolles Superstar get that motorcycle accident. His brother comes back to Arkansas from Illinois to be the offensive coordinator. And then Bobby ended up getting fired, and everything just changed after that. I think we won 4 games that year. I went from being the starting X next to Kobe. Kobe played the Z. I was going to play the X that year. I went from supposed to be that guy to start at X to being Kobe's backup that season. They put me as Kobe's backup because they was like, this is the most important position in our offense. If Kobe is to get hurt, we don't want a young guy behind him. So I'm Kobe's backup, Kobe went crazy that year, like broke all these records, like SEC records for receiving. I'm the second leading receiver on our whole team as his backup, and I think I only had like 21 or 22 catches that year. Like, that's not normal.
Wow.
We won 4 games. I think we started that year ranked like 8th in the country. We ended up going 4-8. Like, come to find out, the whole coaching staff knew. I didn't know this until like the week of the spring game that I needed surgery on my knee because I had a tear in my meniscus. The whole coaching staff knew. Coach Antoine Sharp knew. He every time I talked to him, he asked me, "How's your knee? How's your knee?" We had another coach on the Coach T. Butt, like Terrence Butler, I think. He asked me, man, did they schedule surgery yet? Like, what are they doing? Like, did you schedule? And I'm asking them, like, what are y'all talking about? And they saying, oh, they didn't tell you? Like, you don't know? Like, no, but I just know I'm in knee pain every day. I got to get on the bike every day before practice. While we in the meetings, the trainers keep bringing me, like, hot packs to put on my knee. I'm wrapping my knee before and after practice. I know I'm in knee pain, but they're not letting me miss no practice because that's supposed to be my year to be starting, one of the starting receivers. So the Thursday before the spring game, I think our spring game was on a Saturday. The Thursday before the spring game, the head trainer called me and said, "Hey man, you're going to get surgery on your knee on Monday." Man. And I was like, wait, for real? And they're like, yeah, we're going to get you looked at. We think you need your meniscus cleaned up. That was my first time hearing anything about it.
Yeah,
I went through the whole.
If I'm the parent, I'm going off.
I'm hot right now.
you feel me, man? And me being ignorant, I didn't even. I'm just like, yeah, I'll be all right. Like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just. They want to see how tough I am. I'm show them how tough I am. Like, I'm going through the whole spring with it, knowing I'm in knee pain, and I wasn't smart enough to say, hey man, I didn't figure out what's going on, or I'm all the way in Arkansas. My family in Florida, so I ain't like they could just pop up on the coach and say, hey, we need to get this looked at. So I ended up having surgery on my lateral meniscus and my left knee. And it's generally like a 6 to 8 week recovery time because of how bad mine was. It ended up taking like 10 weeks. They had to clean my meniscus and my kneecap. And I did all of that before the season started and like fall camp started. So I ended up coming back in time. So I didn't miss no time. I went through everything. I went through all the spring ball, played in the spring game sparingly. They finally like let me chill a little bit in the spring game. Had that surgery, went through the recovery or whatever. Ended up being a backup receiver that year. So I'm like, bro, I gotta get out of here. Like this ain't for me. Like, I don't even want to be here no more. I don't trust nobody no more. You know, I'm frustrated because I'm supposed to be starting and we're not even winning no games. Like, why am I not starting? Every week, being the offensive coordinator talking, he telling me, hey, we got to feed you the ball more. That's on me. We got to feed you the ball more. Like, I got to get you more involved. And I'm believing everything that he's saying. Like, every week, me and him talking after the game, like, hey, yeah, I should have got you. Like, okay, next week, let's do it. There was nothing happening. Playing in 12 games, had 22 catches. I think it was at one point, I want to say it was one point of the season where I ended up like every 3 catches I had or every 7 catches I had was a touchdown. So I had like some good numbers, but I wouldn't get no catches like that. So then going into senior year, we get a whole new coaching staff. The coaching staff from Wisconsin, Brett Bielema. And I ain't know nothing about them but Russell Wilson and Logan Gordon and all them running backs that they had. I'm like, okay, but do y'all thought about? And so they actually get the offensive coordinator from Tennessee. So I'm like, okay, I got a chance this year. Like, while they were at Tennessee, they was putting up crazy numbers with Justin Herbert and Cordero Patterson and all them guys. I can't think of the quarterback name, but they had like a crazy. They had every year that he was there. They had the best stats in the SEC every year, like as far as passing and scoring and all that. They just couldn't win no games. So going into that spring, we throwing the ball every single day. I'm like, finally, it's back. Like, things are looking good. It's my senior year. I finally got a chance to shine. We going in the spring. We going it every day, whatever. The first 3 games of the season, I'm going crazy. Towards the end of the game, that third game against Southern Miss, our quarterback dove in the end zone and like hurt his shoulder. And that's the rest of our season. We won the first 3 games. We lost the last 9 of them. Mm-hmm. But me trying to be the tough guy that I thought I was, instead of sitting out trying to get healthy, I'm playing every single game. Nobody knows this. Like, the coaches know, but of course they don't care. And I'm just trying to thug it out. You know, I get my ankle shot up before the game, take a little pill so I don't feel nothing for every game. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just make it work.
Yeah, you can't do that, man. If you hurt, you hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day,
you
talking about NFL. Like we said before, you got to preserve that body, man. I know you want to play, like if it's the big game, you know what I'm saying, Alabama and stuff like that, maybe or whatever. But like, if you hurt, man, get that body back well, because you're not gonna perform. Most likely, you're not gonna perform to your 100% unless you are getting 100%.
Yeah, and I definitely shouldn't have played at all. And I knew that too, but I'm like, I got to. The only game that I was actually healthy, the last game of the season when we played at LSU. So after that game, my season over with, I graduated in December. My goal when I first got on campus was to graduate in 3 years and then start my master's. Mm-hmm. But because I kicked off my freshman year, really the whole year, I ended up staying an extra semester to like get my grades back right. I come back to school for pro day, and I ran it's debatable what the times were. So my pro day, I came back. I trained in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. When I graduated my senior year, I played at 195. They wanted me to get up to 205 my senior year, but I was like, that's not going to happen. So they wanted me to gain as much as I can for the season. I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'll try to gain as much as I can, but it's been hard for me to gain weight my whole life. So literally, it took me 10 weeks to gain 10 pounds. I went up from 185 to 195.
Okay.
So then once I went away for the training for pro day, and I didn't go to the combine, I went to Atlanta. I ended up getting up to 207. I come back from pro day, and the time, like when I run my 40, they tell me my times. I'm running like 4.3s or whatever. Once they do the adjust, because it's all hand time, they say I run like between a 4.40 and a 4.44, something like that.
Okay.
And then I do like 23 on bench. Like, that was the most I ever did. I still to this day, I don't know how I did that much, but I put up like crazy numbers at my pro day. And then like, I go talk to the coaches afterwards, and they just like, man, we wish we had another year with you, man. Like, we could have got so much, we could have did so much more for you. And I'm just like, y'all didn't do anything when y'all had me. Like, why would I want to stay another year? So
what was they saying? What was it predicting you be drafted or undrafted?
Yeah, I was just about to. So I started talking to different people, whatever. Like, I went to some little bowl game in South Carolina. They had like scouts there. I talked to like a scout from the Seahawks or something like that. He told me, I think he said something like, "Yeah, man, just from pure athleticism alone." Mm-hmm. You could have like a 3rd or 4th round grade. You got like a 3rd or 4th round grade just from your athletic ability. It's like, but because of the numbers that you put up in college, you would get lucky at best to go 5th round, 6th round. That would be like best case scenario for you. And he was like, and believe me, we know how athletic you are. It's just you didn't have the stats to back up the number that you put up. And I was like, I can't even argue that, because every single year, that's what I was fighting for. Like, more opportunity. Even in high school, I was fighting for more opportunity. Like, why I'm only getting 4 balls a game. So then my agent process was wild, because I believe, I don't know what year I changed my number, my cell phone number. It might have been like going into my senior year. So that whole year, the coach is like, "Oh, y'all need to start looking at agents, whatever." I'm not getting no conversation from no agents, like whatsoever. And so finally, me and my dad were like, "All right, you need an agent." So me and him started going out and reaching out to agents ourselves. Like, I need an agent, whatever. Finally, I get in contact with agent, and I don't want to say his name because he's still trying to hit up a lot of people to this day, and I'm staying out of that. But I get in contact with him, and he's like, "Man, we've been trying to get in touch with you since September." And this time it's after pro day, so it's like March or April, something like that. And so I meet with him, like he meet my peers, I meet with like one or two other agents. And them agents are tricky too, because I had a dude, when I was training, getting ready for my pro day, I had an agent that was out of South Florida. Never met this dude a day in my life. I talked to him on the phone like twice for like 10 minutes. And he sent me some paperwork, and he was trying to get me to sign to his agency, and I never met him before.
Man, that's crazy.
And he was trying to pressure me into doing it. Like, you don't have that much time. You need to sign with me so I can work for you, like, blah, blah. And I'm like, bro, I don't even know what you look like. And he sent me the paperwork, blowing my phone up, like, did you sign it yet? Did you sign it? Like, no, like, I need to talk to my parents first off. And then I was like, finally, I told him, like, don't call me anymore. Like, I don't know you. I don't even know what you look like. And it sounds kind of weird that you're trying to get me to sign. And I know you just sat down there, like, look you in the face before, and you're supposed to represent me. When the draft's going on, in Arkansas still, staying at, like, one of my teammates' house. Of course, I wasn't expecting nothing to happen on the Thursday, the first round, all that. I'm like, I ain't even pretend with myself. But Friday morning, I wake up to some text message from the Jaguars. Like, hey, man, just keep your phone close to you. And, of course, being from Jacksonville, I'm like, okay. And then that Friday happened, and then they had already drafted two receivers. Marquise Lee and Allen Robinson. So by that time, I'm like, why are y'all even talking to me? Like, y'all just drafted two receivers. So I'm getting texts from the Jaguars, and I'm like, nah, I'm cool. And then I didn't hear from anybody else on that Friday. That Saturday, my phone going crazy. I went to a graduation for like some of my friends. The Chargers, and mind you, I ended up signing the Chargers. Chargers blowing me up like every 30 minutes to an hour. Like, hey, man, we got some picks. Like, keep your phone on you, whatever. My phone getting blown up. I'm watching the draft, like, all right, they got this many picks left. All right, they might make something happen. Like, 6th, 7th round. We'll see. So then other teams started texting me. And that's when it kind of got shaky. The draft's still going on, and you can text from teams like, hey, I want to bring him in as an undrafted free agent. And it's like, bro, the draft's still going on. Like, can y'all give me a pass?
Yeah, give me a second. Yeah, I feel you.
So, like, the Colts texting me, like, the Packers texting me, the Chiefs texting me, like, all these random teams. Like, hey, we're interested in you. If you don't get called, just keep us in mind, blah, blah, blah. So the draft go on. The graduation going on. I ended up going to dinner after the graduation. The draft's still going on because the last day be forever. I'm at dinner with these people, and my phone is still blowing up, like, from text messages. The Chargers, I'm waiting for the Chargers to make a move. They end up drafting another guy out of Baylor who was like 5'10", like 163, something crazy like that, 5'10", 163. And I'm like, boy, like, what's really going on? So they used their last draft pick on him. So finally the draft is over. I go home and go to my room. I'm like, bro, I'm over this. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm cool. I don't even want to play football. Like, whatever. So then I tell myself I'm going to go to sleep, but to put my phone on loud just in case. And so maybe like an hour after the draft, I get a phone call from a San Diego number, and the Chargers is like, yo, we want to bring you in. They end up telling me they want to sign me as an undrafted free agent. Then I get a call like 10 minutes later from my agent, like, hey, man, you headed to San Diego. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And before that even happened, that was one of the teams that he told me to be aware of, like before the draft, just because of the opportunity that was there as far as their roster. Because they had a position to where they were looking for receivers, so they ended up bringing in 5 of us. They drafted the guy, and then they brought in 4 free agents. And the dude that they drafted, they ended up cutting him after the 3rd preseason game. They cut 2 of the other dudes, the rookie receivers, and then they signed me and the guy who ended up being my roommate that year. They put us on the practice squad. And I don't know how y'all know much about the practice squad, but practice squad is no joke.
What you mean?
So we only practice 3 days out of the week. We practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like some teams practice on Mondays. Every NFL team has Tuesdays off. So some don't practice on Mondays. We never practice on Mondays. We just did film and all that stuff. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we got practice. And when I tell you, they had us doing everything. Like that year, they had me doing scout team offense, scout team defense, playing corner and safety, and all the special teams.
Man.
Like, because they didn't want, like, the starters, like the big name dudes doing too much on defense. They had us playing corner and safety on scout team. So they was running us in the dirt. Now, the only good thing about it is, like, I think we made a little over $100,000 that year. But we still in California, so them taxes hitting.
Yeah.
What I didn't do at Arkansas was I didn't do punt return until my senior year. I did punt return and kick return my last year at Bolles. I didn't play any special teams at Arkansas, like return-wise, until my senior year. I was the punt returner. And that was pathetic. Like, I think I had 7 returns the whole year. So when I got to San Diego, I didn't do no special teams as far as return-wise. So I'm like, I gotta find my niche somehow. They put me back there on everything, but I never got a single rep, none of that. So my second year there, they signed Jacoby Jones as the returner. But Jacoby, this man a Pro Bowler, he done been to the Super Bowl, they got all these kickoff returns, whatever. They not letting him return in the preseason. So finally I get a chance to do returns. And I started going crazy on punt returns.
Yeah, you gotta get in where you can fit in.
They finally let me do them. I started going crazy, and they was like, "Oh, we didn't we should have been putting you back there." And I'm like, "I'm begging y'all every single day in practice. Let me get some return work in." So then, when it comes to final cuts, my second year there, they say, "Hey, we really like you as a returner, but Jacoby has more experience than you, so we're gonna try to release you and put you back on the practice squad." And in my head, I'm thinking I've been here for over a year. Y'all never even looked at me as a returner. Now that's the only thing y'all see me as. So they put me on the practice squad for the first half of the season. As soon as week 8 hit, our bye week is week 9, they released Jacoby. They signed me to the active roster as punt returner, kick returner.
There you go.
And then Keenan got hurt. So now we down another body at receiver. So now I'm doing all the returns. Keenan got hurt. Now I'm playing a receiver too. To that point, I probably caught maybe 5 balls from Phillip Rivers, total, from being there. Next thing you know, I'm in on the field, and then my first game played for the Bears, and I'll never forget this game just because people kept texting me after the game John Gruden is dogging you, man. They're talking about where you don't know where to line up, and he has to tell you everything you're supposed to be doing. And I'm like, bro, I know the offense better than any other receiver. But we run in no huddle. So, of course, he has to tell everybody what they're doing. But because I'm the new guy here, it look like I don't know what I'm doing. So I ended up getting to play. I started getting a couple catches. I'm frustrated because my role in the offense is straight clear outs, run a post to clear it out for a corner coming behind you, run a flat route if it's 3 receivers. Our coach used to say, "Oh, he's our punt returner, so we're just going to give him the ball and let him do his thing." So I was getting a little shuffle passes and stuff like that. And then I already had a knee surgery. Then my knee started hurting again, and I'm still playing. I'm telling myself, look, you can't go down because we already got 20-some people on injured reserve. You're just going to have to keep playing through it. So I played the rest of the season knowing that my knee is hurt. Like, I'm like, yeah, I get a chance to play in Jacksonville. I've never been able to play in the Jaguar Stadium before. Now I'm on a visiting team, like, whatever. Knowing my knee bothered me. So I go through that season, go to the off season. I don't say nothing to nobody, whatever. The very first day of that next year, I'll be doing punt drills, and I go back to catch a punt, and my knee just give out on me. Next thing you know, I missed my whole third year there on injured reserve. And I'm having another knee surgery, meniscus again, this thing called chondroplasty again, which is like pretty much cartilage damage in your knee. So that whole year I was on IR.
So IR, you get the same thing as a active player, or?
No. So like my first 2 years, the first 2 or 3 years, I think it's your first 2 or 3 years. If you end up on IR, you get a contract split, so you don't get your full contract.
Okay.
So my first year I was on practice squad. I didn't make that much. My second year I was half and half, so I still didn't make that much. And then my third year, I got a split in my contract. And the coaches look at me like, "Oh, it's just a meniscus. You're supposed to be back. Whatever." The GM, of course, they're gonna tell you whatever you want to hear. Yeah, we're looking for you to be on. We're expecting a lot from you this year. Blah blah blah. I ended up missing a whole year. That following offseason come around, the GM won't even look at me or talk to me. Like I'm still in that rehab. He literally won't even talk to me. Next thing you know, they start telling me, "Hey, you're not on a contract anymore. You can't be here anymore." As far as rehab, so I had to go somewhere else to rehab. And I'm going to go work out on my own just because I'm like I need to get back so I can be ready for next season. I go in the weight room. The only people in there is me and the GM. He won't even look at me or talk to me. So then the league year ends in March every year. My agent called me like, "Hey, yeah, so they don't want to re-sign you. They're looking to go young. They might draft somebody pretty high in the draft." And I knew something was up even before that happened, because my last year there when I was on IR, they not only gave a dude my jersey number, but they put his locker right next to mine. Yeah, cutthroat, brother, really cutthroat. They put his locker like every day I gotta see this dude, and they giving us the same gear with the same number on it. I'm like, bro, like what are y'all like? How how is this even possible? So then they ended up signing a dude. They ended up drafting Mike Williams out of Clemson, wide receiver U. Now he has the same number that I was wearing there. And then so I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to be here no way. Because then I started looking at the roster, and it's like every single person on the roster, even if you look at their roster right now, their active roster, every receiver except for Charles Benjamin is 6'1", like 6'2" or 6'3" and up. So I'm like, I don't even belong here. Like, everybody here, like, at least 2 or 3 inches taller than me. Like, I don't fit the mold of what they're trying to do here. They don't want to re-sign me. I don't want to sign back anyways. So then I started going on workouts for teams. I went on, and this me being stupid again, I went on like 6 workouts in the span of 14 days. None of them signed me. They just like, you don't look like you have your explosion yet. Like, you look healthy, but you just don't look like you're ready yet. And I'm like, okay, but y'all about to go into summer break anyways. Like, it's the beginning of...
Got time, yeah.
It's the beginning of June. Everybody's off the whole month of July anyways. So then I ended up getting married that year. after I can't even go on a honeymoon like I want to because 2 weeks after my honeymoon, I got to go work out for the Lions. Completely killed my workout with the Lions. Like, the best workout I had was with the Lions by far.
Mm-hmm.
They like, yeah, man, you looked really good, but we just want to get a look at you. Like, we want to just put our eyes on you, just to see how you were moving around. We didn't plan on making any moves today. We just, like we said, just wanted to put our eyes on you. And I'm like, so y'all pretty much is wasting my time. So then that was like July 20th. July 28th or 29th is when I went and worked out for the Cowboys. And I guess I ran like a crazy 40 there because I ran my 40 and like all the coaches went crazy, like, woo, like all that crap, whatever. Ran routes. And they ended up signing me to a 2-year deal. Boom. I'm like, I'm back. And I ain't never been a Cowboys fan ever, but I'm like, all right, I'm going to make this work.
Oh, yeah. Business. Yeah.
So I was there for like, what is it? I was there for 3 weeks. I was there for 2 weeks. I played in the Hall of Fame game. It was like, you want to get your feet wet. You know, you've been out for a year. It was a Wednesday in practice. The end of practice doing like a 2-minute drill. I banged my knee on the ground, the same knee that I had surgery on. Mm-hmm. And I hit my bursa sac, and it immediately swelled up. And it swelled up. They was like, yeah, we just got to wait this thing out till the swelling goes down. A week went by, and the swelling was still in my knee. They was like, yeah, I'm sorry, we like you, but we need your roster spot because we're down a lot of bodies. And this is where it gets crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So the day before they released, the morning that they released me, I go into the hotel, like, we was in Altamont, California. I see a dude that looks familiar. It's a receiver that I trained with, and him has the same agent.
Mm-hmm.
I see him in a, like, eating breakfast. I go with it. Like, yeah, they want me to work out today. They say they need some bodies. They got a lot of people hurt. I'm like, yeah, they right. Like, it's 2 of us down right now. I ain't thinking about it. It's 2 receivers down right now, and it's like 2 or 3 cornerbacks down. So they ain't lying. Whatever. Mm-hmm. We walking on our way past, and some random dude I never seen before pulled me to the side. The whole time I'm talking to him, like, if they bringing him in, that means somebody got to go. Me and him walking together, and they grab me, and the first thing I think is, I guess we find out who it is now.
Man.
So they ended up releasing me. They're like, yeah, you need help, man. Like, we'll bring you back, whatever. So they released me. I didn't hear back from my agent until like 2 hours later about this. So not the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to take the train because I've never been on the train before instead of catching the flight. My agent called me. He said that it might happen, but they weren't for sure if it was going to be you or another DB. But they knew that they needed some bodies. So pretty much it came down to my agent knew that there was a chance that they was going to cut me, but he didn't tell me, and he brought in another one of his guys that played my position.
Yeah, I figured he was going to
take my spot.
Yeah, I figured he was going to say that. Cutthroat, man. Cutthroat.
And so after that, I was like, bro, I can't. I'm done with this dude. I don't trust my own agent, so I had to get rid of him.
Because it seemed like he was just trying to get the money, man. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like he was trying to get the money, no matter what, if it was you or his other client. So it seemed like that. So
yeah.
What you do after that?
So that was August 2017. I ended up moving to Dallas just because my lease was up in San Diego, and I was like, it's not even a team out here no more. It ain't no point to be staying in San Diego paying this how hard. So I ended up leaving. Moved to Dallas, started working out at this place called Exos where all the like athletes work out. It was like a free agent program. Mm-hmm. So I went there to rehab, like get my legs back strong, whatever. It took me a while before I ended up switching agents, but I feel like I waited probably way longer than I should have. So that whole season, and I don't hear nothing. every week it's like, oh, the Giants might be bringing you in, just be ready. Oh, the Giants might bring you in, just be ready. That was like 2 or 3 weeks for that, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna keep playing for this. And that was when like Odell went down and like two or three other receivers went down, and they had a big need at receiver. Mm-hmm. I could never get a workout that whole season. And then the next year, I ended up switching agents. The agent's like, hey, what's this thing? And Austin called it Spring League. You might want to look into that. And I was like, man, is it worth it? He was like, yeah, it's new. He's like, yeah, it's new. I don't know how it's going to go, but you should just try it just to get your name back out there. And I was like, all right, I ain't got nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. So that's why I ended up, like, I always knew Austin back, but I never actually met him until I got to Austin. And, of course, Johnny Manziel was there. Like, me and him ended up being on the same team. So he did all this publicity, whatever. And then, so Spring League, I can go to that and it's a complete waste of time. Not because of what they had, but just because of the weather being so bad that we couldn't even throw the football. Mm-hmm. So then we went back to the drawing board, and then my agent, he started hearing about the Alliance League, and I was like, okay, I can do that if that's what it takes for me to get some new film out there. I haven't played in like 2 years, and I need some new film out. So I started looking into that, and then he had the possibility for me to play in the CFL for like half of the season. I was going to play 9 games in the CFL, and I was going to play in that Alliance League. That should have been more than enough film for me to get back on the team. Went up to the CFL, ran through my physical. They was like, hey, man, you got some swelling in your knee, but you're good. If you have any problems, just let us know. So I was up there for 3 days. And I didn't know what was going on, like, because they play a whole different style of football, but I was having a time of my life up there, like, just playing football. And then prepared for the Alliance League, going to, like, they had a quarterback camp or something like that. I went to that, was, like, balling, all the coaches there, like, man, you look really good. Like, why are you here? Blah, blah, blah. I'm talking to all these coaches there, and they like, man, you look like you back. And I'm like, yeah, I feel good, whatever. It goes time for me to report to the Memphis team, and I go get a physical, and they're like, we can't allow you to play. Like, you got some swelling in your knee. You need to go home and rehab it. And I'm like, okay, this is the second time now that y'all saying something about my knee. Mm-hmm. So then I started thinking, like, even when I first signed with the Chargers, they was like, hey, you got some swelling in your knee. We're going to take an x-ray and just monitor it. So I'm like, I went 7 this week thinking, like, back in the past. So I'm like, okay, I need to look into this. So I go back home. I go pay money out of my pocket because ever since I was with the Chargers, I didn't have health insurance. I wasn't with the Cowboys long enough to, like, if I would have been in their roster for like another week or two, I would have had insurance for that year. So I don't even have health insurance. So I had to pay out of pocket to go get an MRI. I get an MRI and they say the same thing. You have some swelling in your knee. Said I had like a little pocket around my meniscus, blah blah blah. Like I had a whole bunch of cartilage damage on the inside and outside. And so like I started panicking, like, dang, bro, like what's going on with you? Like, so then I sent my MRI report to the old Chargers team doctor, and he doesn't work for them no more because he's still in San Diego. They moved up to like Orange County, LA area, whatever. So I just sent him my MRI report, and I was like, hey, man, just be completely honest with me. Tell me your thoughts on this. And he was like, look, you had surgery 2 years ago. You still have swelling in your knee. That's not normal. Now, if it's something where it doesn't swell up often, then there's nothing to worry about. Maybe you can get like a blood stem or a PCP shot or something like that. But if it's happening often, and like almost daily, you might want to reconsider playing football because you obviously at that point there's still something wrong with your knee. So then I started thinking, like, man, like the Chargers said I had some swelling in my knee, the Cowboys said I had some swelling in my knee, the CFL said I had some swelling in my knee. Like maybe I do need to like reconsider this.
Yeah, now we're talking about walking. Well, now we're talking about, you're getting older. Yep.
Yeah. So then I started looking at them. I try to make it work. But at the end of the day, they only paying $70,000. And I was like, man, I might get a job that pay that much. Like,
for real.
You know what I'm saying? So then I was like, all right, this might not be worth it. So then I go home. They try to bring me back at Memphis. They go back and see the doctors. They're like, hey, listen, we might be able to sign off on your knee. You just have to get the higher ups in the organization to also sign off on your knee, like to say that they're okay with your training. And then I was like, no, I'm good. Like, y'all can send me. After that, I was like, you give me some time to think about it. Like, I went back to the hotel. I was like, I'm good. Like, they having people to sign up on my knee, off on my knee. That's basically me setting myself up for if something was to happen, for them to tell me I told you so. And I was like, I'm already like dealing with some stuff as far as workers comp from the NFL. I'm not saying to be going through the same thing with these people. And it's a new league. And mind you, if I would have did that, I probably wouldn't have got paid because it's some players that still ain't got paid from them playing in it. Like that whole league ended up crumbling anyways. So I got some. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep taking these chances on my knee. Like I already had 2 knee surgeries on it. It's still swelling up on me 2 years later. All I'm doing is setting myself up to get injured again, or worst case, having another surgery. And I'm like, after my second surgery, that was probably the most depressing time of my life. I was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm done. And that was in like December this past year when I was like, I'll just step away from the game before I put myself through that again.
Mm-hmm. So how was just realizing that that was it? That's it.
Man, I had talked to my older brother. I talked to my wife, and I was just like, man, it's not worth it. Like I know, and then like just telling you from my background earlier, it's like I never felt myself like a football player anyways. Like I was a basketball player my whole life. But the thing that took me that whole trip was just me being a competitor. Like if you put on a film for me in college, I was a competitor. Like I just like to compete against people.
But that story is a story of relentless effort, man. And because, like I said, you went through so many different things, and then especially with the agent, that helped me out too when you said about that. And just going from different places, and it's just almost seemed like you was out there on your own. Like you had to make decisions on the fly, and you just kind of out there on your own. Now, what would you say to just to parents? Like I finally thought to parents and kids going through the high school, college, and maybe getting through the process.
Even just in high school, just enjoy the whole high school
there you go.
Trip. Because like even to this day, like the most fun I had at any level was high school. Like to this day, like all of my closest friends are from high school.
Gene.
And of course, like I've made a couple friends in my boy that's my boy for life. Like I got a couple of college friends that they like brothers to me now, and I got a couple dudes that still playing in the league that ain't even playing anymore. They was like brothers to me. But high school, and you ain't ever had as much fun as you do in high school. That's my opinion. And then with the whole recruitment thing, it's like, man, when you make that decision, it got to be the best decision for you and your situation. Because like I made that decision on Arkansas. I ended up signing it. And I didn't even say this earlier, but every single year that I was there, I wanted to transfer every year. And I'm playing. And the reason I didn't transfer is because, like, thankfully, I'm glad that I forced myself to stay there, but thankfully, my parents was like, no, you chose to go there, you're going to tough it out. Like, your brother played at 3 schools in 5 years. Because he went to Minnesota his freshman year. He ended up transferring to Vanderbilt, and then his redshirt senior year, he played at Valdosta State. But my parents were like, no, you're not doing that. Like, you chose to go there, you're going to stick it through. And on top of that, I would say have a plan. Because I knew that I hated being there, but I knew that I was going to get my degree. And even with Arkansas, like when I decided to go there, I didn't even. My first visit there was after I signed. Like I never even saw the school until after I signed. Couldn't tell you what Arkansas was, what it looked like, none of that.
So question for you: do you feel like for the young kids coming up now, that but you saying that you got to Arkansas and felt like you didn't want to be there, would you? And you didn't visit the campus previously? Do you feel like the kids right now should actually visit these campuses before they actually find a way?
Yeah. I went on visits. Like I think I said that before you got on the phone. I tried to go on as many visits as I could. And Arkansas was one of the schools that my last 2 visits were supposed to be. And sorry about that. My last 2 visits were supposed to be Illinois and Arkansas. And the reason why I didn't end up visiting is because they had a lot of snowstorms. That was like back then. They was having real bad snowstorms like everywhere in the country. I ended up just not being able to go to those schools. But nah, you definitely need to go visit as many schools as you can. Not just sit out if you want to be there, because like coaches come and go. Like you don't know how long the coach is gonna be there. Shoot, you don't even know how long he said he's gonna stay at Alabama. Like if he can retire if he wants to. Like Urban Meyer.
You say that.
Urban Meyer, he ain't coaching no more. But you got to find a school that fits for you. I think just for me, I always told myself I want to go to school outside of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to school in the state of Florida, and I don't want to go nowhere to where my parents could just pop up on me. Like I don't want it to be driving distance, and that was just my personal choice. Yeah, and it's for different reasons. Like that was just my personal choice. I was like I want to be away. I want to experience college because I know, like I knew that every year outside I wanted to transfer, but I also knew if I was at somewhere like Florida State or something like that, where I was close enough to go home. Just because, like, I know my plan was to graduate in 3 years and start my master's in my 4th year. And this truck driving past again. So with me, I ended up graduating in 3.5 years, and I had still had the opportunity to start my master's degree if I wanted to, but I myself in position to be able to go train instead, and not have to worry about school. Like I had some dudes, they had to work out at school and still go to class because they ain't got their degree yet. I still got some dudes that I went to school with that still ain't graduated. But I knew that was my plan, was to get out of there as soon as possible so I can take care of what I want to take care of when I time.
Yeah, put it in.
And then I think the main thing that I learned about like being on the Chargers is like you gotta have fun, and the game has to be fun for you. A lot of the time that I was there, I wasn't having fun, and I can be completely honest with that. Like I was just doing it because it was my job. I was not having fun. A lot of the time I was not enjoying myself. Like I felt like football wasn't a game for me; it was a game, and I feel like that kind of affected any long term being there. If I like the only time I had fun is when I'm gonna feel like talking trash, but I felt like it was a certain point to where I had to kind of reserve myself and like not be like show my true character, because I was worried about what other people was thinking, or I was worried about like how would they portray me, and like I was just worried about so much other stuff. Like, and that's when you said the mental health thing earlier, because that would have helped me tremendously.
Man, that was very good. From when I started to when I got in, man, I heard you going through a lot of adversity, man, and right now you got a good head on your shoulders, man. And I want to tell everybody, man, also to listen to this podcast here, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. And other than that, everybody stay smooth.
Right, real still, man. We out.